Okay, welcome to the Aksarben Foundation's podcast. Hilarious. I'm like, okay, we got it. This is being renamed as we speak. But anyway, I'm with the Aksarben Foundation. I'm Shonna Dorsey, and I'm an executive director, and I oversee our scholarships and internships initiative, as well as the Nebraska Tech Collaborative. And today I'm here with two of my friends. Will you please introduce yourselves?
Of course. Hello, everybody. My name is Shohina Sultonova. I'm a current junior at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, studying finance, marketing, and sales. And I'm so excited to be here today.
Awesome.
Yes.
Go Mavs.
Go Mavs.
Yeah. And I'm Justin Krug. I am a UNO alum, but today I am an account executive at Workshop, a startup here in town, one of Nebraska's fastest growing startup companies. And I dabble. I stay involved in the community to help support all things startups and entrepreneurship. So
yes, that's great. So we have three UNO grads here today. Well, yes. I'm a grad, two grads. You're coming up on graduation.
Yes.
But yeah,
can't wait.
We're glad you're here though. So can you tell us a little about a little bit about yourself, like what you're studying at UNO and all of that?
Yeah, of course. Like I mentioned, right now I'm doing finance, marketing, and sales. And I'm also really involved in the business community, like Justin said. I run the entrepreneurship club there called CEO, and it stands for Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. Justin used to be the president also back in the day.
How about that?
But I'm also the marketing officer for the investment program that we have. And I would say I'm pretty involved on campus. I try to be there for all the events, support my peers, just absorb as much as I can. And right now I am interning at Union Pacific as a marketing and sales intern. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
They're very lucky to have you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. Likewise.
Well, I guess from my perspective as a former, really involved college student in things that you're kind of up to, what would you say is kind of advice for those that, maybe have not found their kind of spot, their interest? Like, how did you get connected, find out about those extracurricular opportunities like Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization or the Investment Club?
I would say if they are just starting out in college, just trying to make as many friends as possible, trying to speak with different people from different backgrounds that come from different cities, hopefully, or just people who have diverse experiences, because that's how you learn a ton. That's how you gain from their experiences, but also you learn about different things. Everybody has different interests, and I'm sure that a lot of them really invest in it. So you learn a thing or two about different hobbies and all that good stuff. But I would say networking is really important. Also, you really utilizing the university, like UNO, they market a ton of events, and I think it's really important for students to involve themselves in it and try to get as much of it as possible. And then once you meet the people, then it's easier to find these clubs and these organizations, but also exploring. I think, especially in college, it's really a pivotal time for young students to try as much as they can, to try different things. Like, for example, I know the major at UNO is business admin, but the concentrations are a ton, right? Finance, accounting, marketing, all these things. And I had a ton of concentrations in the past 3 years, and now I fully committed to what I'm studying now. And I took a couple classes to see if I liked those subjects or not, to see if I was good at them. But also, I think internships is really important, trying to find a company, a small firm, possibly a startup to work for, or to really shadow somebody will help you a ton in terms of knowing what you want, what you like and don't like.
Yeah. And speaking of internships, you've had several.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about why that's important, and not only just several internships maybe with the same company, but internships with different companies?
Yeah, absolutely. The reason why I think it's important is because it diversifies your experiences and also introduces you to different perspectives, viewpoints, and just different ways that companies do business. There's in business specifically, I'm sure you guys know, there's a ton of different industries. There's different ways that companies make money. And I think that's really important to know. And interning in different companies will give you that exposure to see how companies run those certain industries. How do they actually make profit? How do they maintain their company, make sure that they're still attracting customers, maintaining them, and overall, how do they run their business? I think especially starting off, working in smaller firms, startups helped me a ton in terms of learning the basics of business, how to actually get customers and attract new customers in a business that's small and not many people know. And I've also worked in big companies and corporations where it was all about maintaining what they already had and coming up with new innovations and being really adaptable, specifically to technology. And yeah, I would say I learned a ton, and it diversified my portfolio, my background, and my experiences also. And I took a little bit from each and everyone to be who I am now. So
yeah.
What do you
just get started?
To unpack that a bit deeper too, obviously you're heavily involved. I think you're like a great example of someone in college that just is like a yes person and just like does a lot of things, right? A lot of different like majors or areas of focus that you like tried out or student orgs. How do you think that had an impact on your internship experience? Did that help you feel like you were more prepared? Did that, I guess, make it less competitive for those folks that you were like applying or interning for, where it's like, actually, we're not going to put you through this huge rigmarole. We're just going to hire you because holy cow, you've got so much experience.
A little bit. I think for the interview process, for students specifically, it's still important to know why they're applying to the role they're applying for. If they don't have an experience, it's valid enough that they have an interest in it and they're willing to work for it. Especially because it's an internship and that's the whole point of it, to learn. But I would say, can you repeat the last part of the question?
Yeah, what I was really interested in kind of hearing your perspective on was like, as someone that was so involved.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
How did I end up getting the internships? That's right. I would say for the school organizations, it was mainly the networking portion. Like for CEO, the Entrepreneurship Club, we would bring a ton of CEOs, small founders, people who owned businesses. And it was really cool because I had direct access to them. Whereas nowadays, if you try to, like a student, if they try to reach out, they usually send their assistant, executive assistant to make a call or even to get to that person. So I was really lucky and fortunate enough to have direct access to them. And every single time I went out with them to get coffee or did a quick informational interview to learn more about what they did, especially if I resonated with the speaker and the person who came to present. But I would say specifically for getting internships, it definitely gave me a competitive advantage because I was exposed to the business community. And I also learned a ton in terms of like public speaking and communicating with others and just those social skills that you learn in college. But with internships, I would say I actually learned how to do the job outside of the classroom, which I also think is the most important component of an internship. All of the classes it can be very theoretical, and you wouldn't know how to do it unless you actually do it, which the best time to do it is in an internship. So,
exactly. Yeah. And just like being in school and having that opportunity to explore different careers is great. One thing that I really appreciate about what you just said and is really important for students to think about is when you do have a guest speaker who comes into a classroom, they're giving their time because they want to connect with students and they really care. Like we don't do this because we're like, man, I'm so bored today. I wonder if I can like go to school and talk to some students. We do it because we literally care. But I can tell you over the many years that I've visited classrooms, the number of times students have reached back out is pretty minimal, even though my cell phone number has not changed in like 20 years. I've had the same one. I even had the same one when I had a company. It has not changed, but I'm always like, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to make connections. Shohina is a person that took me up on it, but it really does make a difference. And I would highly suggest any students listening to this, if you do have people visit your classroom, definitely take them up on opportunities to reach back. I hear this from my peers all the time that students just don't reach back out. So, but we want you to.
I could not echo that more. Yeah. A lot of professors of mine mentioned the same thing and they would, tell me not a lot of people show up to office hours or do these things. And those that do, I think, are putting themselves forward in a really awesome way. So congrats to you.
Yeah,
Kudos.
that's a good approach.
Keep going.
You have to invest in it.
You do.
Yeah.
It's like your career ultimately, right?
Yes.
So, okay, final question. And I know we're like going to be overtime, and Justin was right. This happens sometimes. But final question.
Okay.
What piece of advice would you give to a student who is like, how can I get the most out of my college experience?
Oh my gosh, so much. Do everything. I feel like college is the best time to try everything out because your responsibilities are very minimal. Everybody keeps telling me that, and the older I get, my responsibilities just keep increasing. So I would say as a college student, say yes to everything. Make new friends who are from different backgrounds, especially if they're exchange students. You will learn so much about their culture, and maybe one day you can visit their country and grab coffee with them and reconnect. Or, I would say studying abroad. Also, I did that 3 times actually.
Wow.
That also was, I think, the best part of my college experience because as a student, I learned so much. I saw so many different places, connected with people from all around the world, and really learned how they were raised and what caused their upbringing and what are they doing now and what motivates them and all these things. And I think that's really interesting, especially for people who are from different countries and are from different cultures and were raised differently with different values. But yeah, I would say yes to everything. Go on coffee chats. I think it's a balance. Do a few internships, build on skills. I think that's also really important. A lot of the internships, sometimes you won't really do too much or you might not get as much done. So I would say in every internship, absorb as much as you can, get to know everybody in the team, meet with them, make sure that you're also documenting your journey and your projects. And by the time you realize when you're a senior, you've accomplished a lot and hopefully you have a nice job lined up.
Exactly. And I like your say yes point. Just to add to that, students out there, you say yes a lot early, then you know what to say no to, because it's kind of like you're developing your filter right through those experiences. So that's good.
Go outside your comfort zone. Get off that phone.
There you go.
Being a yes person, it's so important early on. You know, that was kind of my experience as well. Ran multiple student orgs. It lined up so many internship opportunities for myself. And, you know, frankly, that was really helpful because I learned what I liked and got experience. But I also, more importantly, learned, well, I don't care for this thing that I was doing, that I was assigned as an intern to do. Let's close the door to that opportunity if I look full time. So it's equally as important to understand early on, like what you don't like.
That's right. Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks again for being here. We look forward to all that you're going to accomplish in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening and watching.